Part 30. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 291. Amidst the huge muffled sound, the blood artist let out a scream. The fist made of blood was directly punched through by the purple corpse monster. The huge fist hit his chest. A black shadow pounced from behind, but it was a two-headed dog. The two-headed dog's two huge mouths directly bit off his legs, and at the same time the purple corpse monster followed. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. Countless black smoke tentacles appeared and instantly tied up his whole body. The soft sword in the hand of the ice killer had been bounced away by a punch, and the purple corpse monster blasted her into the ground with its left fist. He stepped on her with one foot, making her unable to move. Among the four summons, only the bad doctor was emitting a faint black smoke, covering this area. In this war, he seemed to be the most useless. Lin Yi watched the result of this battle from the side and shook his head. The role of the bad doctor seems to be unable to play out here. Thinking of this, he shook his head. He walked a few steps to the front of the blood artist and the ice killer. Countless dark green silk threads poured out from all directions, tying them up like dumplings, unable to move at all. In just a few tens of seconds, they were assimilated in the screams of pain. A few minutes later, the three assassins who came to assassinate Lin Yi this time, and the invincible official Scorpion of the East Palace, all became his subordinates in one fell swoop. They will forever become the guard puppets of the underground maze, and will contribute to Lin Yi's career, and they will be free forever, no matter how much trouble they make. It must be said that Lin Yi was very happy to accept the combat power of four immortals at one time. This means that the power of the Wanchaiwu will grow rapidly. He looked at Scorpion. Tell me, what kind of power does this Donggong Wudi have? I will cut them off one by one, make him heartbroken, and regret everything he has done. Scorpion looked respectful, and narrated the things about Donggong Wudi one by one. This Donggong Wudi is very lustful. He doesn't know how many decent women he has captured. I did all these things for him. Every time he enjoyed these women, he would get rid of them. Because his father is the Prime Minister Donggong Taiyu, he can't have any scandals, so these things must be clean from beginning to end. In addition to me, he has a special force under his command, which he created with his family's connections and funds. Originally, this team only had top-level warriors. But because of the second change in the world, these people have made breakthroughs on a large scale. There are people called 7 generals under his command. Each of these 7 people is a master of the first level of the human immortal way, and all of them are all killers who are proficient in all kinds of cold and hot weapons. Once they are targeted, it is almost impossible for anyone to escape their siege. Especially when they work together, they will deploy tactics and block all spaces. Calculate all your weaknesses and flaws and surround and kill the enemy. As far as I know, their best record was when they were still at the top level. They surrounded and killed a super master of the second level of the human immortal way. So if the store manager wants to deal with Donggong Wudi, he must get rid of these 7 generals. Hearing this, Lin Yi frowned. Hearing you say that, this guy seems to be quite powerful. Does the 7 generals you mentioned include the 2 women next to him last time? Scorpion nodded and said, including these 2 women. They are a pair of sisters. Because their parents died, they were bullied by debt collectors. After being rescued by Donggong Wudi, they became his loyal subordinates. And these 2 women have completely fallen in love with Donggong Wudi. They are also the people Donggong Wudi trusts the most. But I know a secret that can help the store manager. What secret? The secret is very simple. I arranged everything that happened to the twins. 3 years ago, I found that the twins were very talented in martial arts, and then I arranged all the accidents. Their parents died in a car accident, which was also arranged by me. They were bullied by debt collectors. Ling almost got insulted. It was also arranged by me. During this process, they met Donggong Wudi by chance, and then got to know each other. When I arranged for the debt collectors to find them, Donggong Wudi played the role of a hero saving a beauty. Donggong Wudi, in exchange for letting them become his subordinates to pay off the debt, helped them pay off their parents' debts. In fact, the two sisters did not know that their parents owed debts, and the company they owed also belonged to the secret forces of the Donggong family. They served as women for 3 years and bodyguards for 3 years for their enemy Donggong Wudi, contributing their youth. It can be said that they were cheated of nothing. Hearing this information, Lin Yi felt an astonishing viciousness. This Donggong Wudi is really too vicious. Tell me any other news one by one. I really want to know how many secrets and conspiracies this Donggong Wudi hides. Scorpion looked serious and began to count one by one, listening to Lin Yi's eyebrows jumping. This Donggong Wudi is simply a scum among scum. He cheats and deceives. He will intervene in everything that involves interests, and he will use various vicious means to achieve his goals. Destroying a family is just his usual means of operation. He even cooperates with terrorist organizations to cause various terrorist disasters and then make huge profits from them. And one of them caught his attention. Donggong Wudi seems to have set his sights on the Sakura Palace family, wanting to marry Sakura Palace Shirley, and then erode the wealth and capital of the Sakura Palace family step by step. And the reason why he attacked himself this time was also for this reason. He would not allow any threat to his plan to exist. Listening to these things, Lin Yi couldn't help but admire this Donggong Wudi very much. However, at the age of more than 20, he actually did so many evil things, earned so much profit, and established a huge group. According to Scorpion, among the children of the upper class of the entire empire, this Donggong Wudi is also a few vicious people. A sneer appeared on Lin Yi's lips. The more vicious and wealthy he is, the more painful it will be when he loses everything. By the way, do you have detailed records of these things? Or key evidence? A smile appeared on Scorpion's lips. I have done a lot of things for Donggong Wudi, and I am also afraid that if one day he wants to abandon me, he will kill me without hesitation. So I was prepared. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 292. So I left a lot of substantial evidence and hid it in various places in Honglian City. These evidences are scattered throughout Honglian City, ensuring my safety. If you want to collect all of them, it will take at least a few days. Lin Yi thought for a while. Write down the places and forms of the evidence, and I will ask people to do these things. After these evidences are collected, I will find someone to expose them one by one. Now Donggong Wudi's father, Donggong Taiyu, is caught in a wave of public opinion. If his son's matter is exposed, his position as prime minister will be shaky. Without the prime minister's skin, I am not afraid of his Donggong family alone, although it is huge. For Lin Yi now, the biggest threat to him is actually the official organization. What he is least afraid of is this kind of group company. As long as he dares to come to his Wanchaiwu, he can keep the other party. The more people come, the stronger the Wanchaiwu will be, and the stronger the Wanchaiwu is, the less afraid he is of these people. The Wanchaiwu has become his greatest confidence. After the black stone slab of the future mobile thatched house stores enough power, he can even let the Wanchaiwu move around in this red lotus world, and no one can do anything to him. He took a deep breath, and a trace of solemnity appeared in his eyes. This night ended here. The damaged parts of the underground maze are being repaired quickly and will soon be restored to their original state. He and absinthe, vodka, and brandy returned to the lobby on the first floor. Lin Yi looked at the three of them. There shouldn't be anything today, you can go up and rest. I have something to arrange for you tomorrow. Okay, manager, the three agreed and walked to the second floor. Goo 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 goo. The clock struck 12, and the Wanchaiwu fell into complete silence. The door of the Wanchaiwu emitted a faint red light, and a note slowly floated out of it. The strange child appeared here silently, took the note, and silently put it on Lin Yi's desk. Lin Yi took the note and looked at it. There was already a reply on it. I am willing to exchange 10 years of my life for gold. A smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and a cold light appeared in Lin Yi's eyes. I didn't expect that someone would really be willing to exchange his life for money. But if you can do it, this is another way to make money. Thinking of this, Lin Yi wrote another string of words on the note. Then the deal is done. If you agree, please answer yes. After this, we can start the deal. The note was handed to the strange child, who threw the note into the red door. After doing all this, Lin Yi observed the concentration of the fog in the Wanchaiwu. It can be roughly determined that there is a high probability that there will be no alien existence coming today. He turned back to his bedroom and started a day of hard practice. To fight with this Dong Gongwudi and the Prime Minister behind him. Strength is indispensable. When Dong Gongwudi starts to counterattack, he will definitely face the opponent's thunder attack. Although he will cut off all the opponent's minions before the opponent counterattacks. But the iron must be hard, he never pinned his hopes on the mistakes of others. In a blink of an eye, it was the second day, and Lin Yi started to enjoy his delicious meal early in the morning. At least 1 pound of steak was cut into 5 pieces, and the medium rare steak looked plump, tender, and juicy. There were also 4 or 5 fried eggs, some bacon. These foods added up to at least 3 pounds. This was just Lin Yi's lunch for one morning. Recently, as he began to practice the body-refining human immortal path technique, his consumption of food has also increased. The benefit is that his own body is undergoing a new round of rapid growth. Even during this period, his height has grown by 3 centimeters. And his bones have become stronger, and his muscle tissue and skin have become very willful. After enjoying today's breakfast, Lin Yi looked at Absinthe and the other 2. Today, the 3 of you stay in the store. Don't go anywhere. Just be careful to watch the store. If someone comes to the door, go to the underground maze immediately, and then let the maze guards besiege and kill them. Got it? Absinthe's twisted smile was full of expectation. Of course there is no problem, I will follow your orders, Mr. Manager. Vodka said in a low voice, yes, Manager. Brandy looked worried, okay, Manager, I hope nothing will happen. Lin Yi nodded, took a notebook and went out. His goal today was to find the various places where Scorpion hid the evidence. Then take out all the important evidence. Start his revenge plan, and he will definitely take revenge on all those who hate him. With power, he doesn't want to be oppressed and unable to speak like in the past. With a faint flame of revenge burning in his eyes, he walked towards the first place recorded in the notebook. That was the slums in the North City. After taking a taxi for more than half an hour, he arrived at the slum area. The slums were very large, covering at least several square kilometers, and it was not easy to find the location in the notes. However, the slums in Honglian City were also planned, but the houses here were very old. There are also many tin houses or shacks, but these are the buildings that only the extremely poor people live in. But even so, these buildings are built in designated residential areas. No buildings are allowed to be built at will in the road area, otherwise they will be demolished by the city guards of Honglian City. Looking at all this, he showed a hint of hesitation in his eyes and looked at the boy closest to him. There are many dropouts in the slums, most of whom do physical labor or rely on stealing for a living. The boy noticed Lin Yi's gaze and hurried over to say, "Sir, do you need anything? I am very familiar with this place, and I can take you wherever you want to go." Most of the boys in the slums are very precocious and have started to make a living in society very early, so they naturally have their eyesight. The moment he saw Lin Yi, he knew that he was a rich man, and his purpose of coming here was mostly to find someone or a place. This boy volunteered himself, which also made Lin Yi smile knowingly. I want to find a place, take me there, it's called Corner Alley. Hearing the name, the young man's eyebrows jumped, and he looked at Lin Yi in surprise. Sir, you want to go to Corner Alley? It's not a good place. I know where it is, you don't have to worry about it. I'm going there to find a man called Old Huang Ye, you just need to lead the way. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 293. Okay, sir, I'll take you there. Please give me 5 yuan. This is my reward. The boy was wearing a washed white shirt and jeans. Although they were worn, they were very clean. His appearance is relatively upright, and his eyes are full of intelligence. He looks about 13 or 14 years old. Smiling slightly, 5 yuan, you lead the way. As he spoke, he casually took out 5 yuan from his pocket and handed it to the young man. There are many alleys in the slums in the north of the city, although these alleys are planned roads. But it is very difficult for ordinary people to find the correct location, and there is even no navigation. Only then will these teenagers have the opportunity to earn money as tour guides. Only a boy who grew up in a slum like this can distinguish the small streets from the front, back, left and right. Lin Yi followed the young man everywhere. In the countless alleys, he came to a sunken staircase after twists and turns. Soon he entered an ancient alley, only 2 meters wide. The buildings in the alley are all ancient blue brick structures, and there are many small shops on the left and right sides. After bringing him here, the young man looked at Lin Yi and said, Sir, this is Crescent Alley. As for Mr. Huang you are looking for, you have to ask yourself. Lin Yi looked at the young man with satisfaction and nodded and said, Don't leave yet. I will come to you later if I have something else to do. The young man's eyes lit up, and he knew that he still had a big order to take. He smiled slightly and said, Of course no problem sir, I will wait for you here. The young man was very discerning and had no intention of following Lin Yi here. The other party had something to do here, and following him might disturb Lin Yi. Lin Yi looked at him and nodded. This little boy also had his own set of survival rules. Don't look at things you shouldn't see, don't ask about things you shouldn't ask. This kind of person will be able to get along no matter where he goes in the future. Without him, he knows how to advance and retreat, and he is sensible. Too many people in this world do not know how to advance and retreat, and they are ignorant, so they are struggling. Lin Yi stood in front of the street of Crescent Alley, looking left and right, searching for his target. Soon he saw where his target was. An old bookstore is located at the end of the corner alley, about 10 meters away. The bookstore is called Huangsan Bookstore. According to CSEI, Old Huang is the owner of Huangsan Bookstore. One of his evidences is hidden in Old Huang. Once something happens to him, the evidence will be made public by Mr. Huang. The reason why Old Wilderness helped Scorpion was because Scorpion had helped him in his early years. Mr. Huang's current bookstore house was also bought for him by Scorpion. He has been able to survive until now because of Scorpion's support. However, Scorpion only used cash to fund him and never used any online funds. And it was given to him through special means, and no one knew about it. In all these years, Scorpion has never revealed the existence of Mr. Huang. Grandpa Huang also keeps his bookstore here and never goes out casually. A few minutes later, he arrived at Mr. Huang's bookstore and saw rows of yellowed bookshelves when he entered. Most of the books in Lao Huanjai's bookstore are books with a little color. Because there are only a few people in this slum who are willing to learn, and most people live to satisfy their own desires. A low-cost color book was naturally welcomed by them. It also allowed Mr. Huang to run a bookstore safely in this slum. Of course, in addition to these books, There will also be various books related to knowledge. After all, not everyone is unmotivated. Most of the books here are for rent, but you can also buy them if you are willing to pay. Lin Yi entered the store and immediately attracted Mr. Wang's attention. His appearance and dress were incompatible with the people in the slums, and his whole person exuded a unique temperament. Old Wang's heart felt slightly cold. He didn't know if trouble was coming. He maintained his original appearance, not daring to be careless at all, and looked at Lin Yi and said, "Does this gentleman want to borrow any books? The price here is very cheap. You only need 5 national currency to read it for a day." Listening to Mr. Wang's introduction, Lin Yi smiled slightly and looked at him. "I am Scorpion's boss. Please give me all the evidence. This is Scorpion's letter." As he spoke, he placed a letter in front of Mr. Huang. It's said to be a letter, but it's actually just a note with what Scorpion wrote to Mr. Huang. "This is my new boss. The evidence I put here before is useful to him. Please give it to him. Because of some things, I can no longer show up in person. From now on, you can only rely on yourself." After seeing the words above, Mr. Wang's eyes showed a trace of solemnity. There is Scorpion and his secret code on it, and the content of the secret code is that the other party is trustworthy. The code is, the evidence works for him. This is what Mr. Huang had agreed with Scorpion a long time ago. If one day someone comes to him with this sentence, it proves that this person is indeed trustworthy. Old Wang's heart sank slightly. In his mind, maybe there was something wrong with Scorpion. Only then did he let the gentleman in front of him come. He sighed and came to the bookshelf behind him. From the highest point inside, take out the 7th book on the left. After opening the book, there was a small notebook inside. He took out the notebook and handed it to Lin Yi. "Sir, this is the evidence that Scorpion gave me. I want to ask if he is really okay." Lin Yi glanced at him, smiled slightly and said, "He is really fine, you can rest assured." Old Huang took a closer look at Lin Yi. He could feel that the other party had no need to lie to him, and there was no expression on his face. Although he had lived an ordinary life, he still had a keen eye. As a shop owner, he had seen all kinds of guys, and he could still observe whether a person was lying or not. Hearing that Scorpion was really okay, he put down his worries and smiled. "It's good that he is okay. If there is a chance, let him come and sit with me." Lin Yi nodded, "Don't worry, I will tell him. If he can come, he will come." Looking at Lin Yi leaving, Old Huang slowly sat back in his seat, his eyes swept across his shop, and sighed slightly. "It seems that I won't be able to be so leisurely in the future. Fortunately, I have saved a lot of money, so it shouldn't be a problem to open it for another 10 years. By then, I will be almost buried in the ground." Shaking his head, Old Huang took the book in front of him, sat back in his old chair, and began to savor it carefully. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 294. From then on, his life belonged only to himself, and he no longer had to worry about Scorpion. The mission relationship between him and Scorpion also ended here. After leaving Old Huang Ye's bookstore, Lin Ye quickly returned to the location where he entered the corner alley. There, the slum boy was still waiting for him, very trustworthy. Looking at the slum boy, Lin Yi smiled and said, "Next, accompany me to the 2nd place, I want to go to Longquan Street." In one morning, Lin Yi went to 3 places in the slums, got 3 different evidences, and met 3 different people. They were all people arranged by Scorpion in the slums to help him guard the evidence. Each of them was someone Scorpion had helped for decades and was selected after examining their personalities. These people have a common trait, that is, they are honest and dutiful, and they value promises and love their families. They have various virtues and are not those who are greedy for money. Almost everyone, after handing the evidence in their hands to Lin Yi, will ask about Scorpion's safety. That kind of concern comes from the bones, without any falsehood. Under the attention of Lin Yi's true fate, no one can lie to him. Standing outside the slums, Lin Yi shook his head slightly. Scorpion is really good at judging people. All three candidates are just right. Why didn't Scorpion just find a secret place to store the evidence? The reason is actually very simple. His purpose is to prevent himself from being silenced because he knows too much. If his evidence is unknown, then the evidence will eventually sink into the sea and disappear in the torrent of history. Even if it is found out for some reason in a few years, it will be useless and may not even cause any harm to the parties involved. But it's different if he gives it to these people. Once he dies unexpectedly, their source of funds is cut off, they will immediately be alert to the problem Scorpion may have died. At this time, they will take out their own evidence and expose it through various means, so that the people pointed to by these evidence will be accused and even punished by law, although this possibility is very small. But small people also have their own revenge methods. Although they can't kill you, they also want you to get into trouble. Moreover, after these things are exposed, the group represented by Dong Gongwudi will inevitably be severely impacted. Under the excitement of the crowd, their company group may be greatly affected. Although this possibility is also very small, after all, the power of wealth is very terrifying. Lin Yi took 3 pieces of evidence and got on a bus heading to the Wanchaiwu. On the bus, he began to flip through these 3 palm-sized notebooks one by one. There are detailed records of one plan after another, as well as various photos taken. There are even photos of living people being killed. At the end of each notebook is a memory card. This memory card obviously contains something like a video. Seeing these contents, Lin Yi has a deep understanding of Dong Gongwudi. This is an absolutely perverted person who has no fear of killing. He will gladly use all evil plans, as long as he can achieve his goal, he can do whatever he wants. An existence without any conscience at all. Human beings can be so bad, this Dong Gongwudi is really eye-opening. Like father, like son, and like son, like father. If Dong Gongwudi is so bad, then Prime Minister Dong Gongtaeyu is probably not much different. Recently, Dong Gongtaeyu has had a lot of problems and is under attack from public opinion. He may step down at any time. This is a good opportunity to organize and spread these evidences. It is also a huge shock to him. Maybe it will be the last straw that breaks the camel's back. It is possible that he will be directly driven out of the position of Prime Minister. Without the protection of the Prime Minister's identity, the threat of the Dong Gong group to me will be reduced by 1 level. And I belong to the black-clad man. If he is not the Prime Minister, he can't control this. Planning before acting, Lin Yi will not rashly confront the imperial power head-on. Especially the second-generation son, who has a deep background and power. If you want to deal with this second-generation character, the first thing is to defeat the forces behind the other party. He had no one to rely on, just like a tiger without claws and fangs, and could only be slaughtered. A cold smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and then he would go to other places in Honglian City to get more evidence left by Scorpion. At this moment, he suddenly froze for a moment, because he felt an unusual breath. He looked up at the bus, and then froze a little. I don't know when, the bus he was riding was full of people. But each of these people had a blank expression and did not make any sound. The bus was as quiet as a quiet secret room. The light of the true destiny flashed in his eyes, and Lin Yi already knew what happened. I don't know when he got on a bus of the dead. Or this bus is a resentful spirit, a collection of resentful spirits. I really have the temperament of absorbing spirits. I will encounter such things wherever I go. He did not move, but just sat here quietly. He wanted to see where this resentful spirit bus wanted to take him. Looking at the midday sky outside, a strange thought came to his mind. There is a moon in broad daylight now. Is this caused by the second change in the world? These vengeful spirits seem to be getting stronger and stronger. He looked carefully and could see wisps of extremely strong vengeance in every corner of the bus. The entire bus seemed to be composed of these vengeances. Although its basic skeleton is made up of an abandoned bus. 10 minutes passed in a flash, and the bus brought Linyi to an overpass. This overpass is a bridge located in the east of Honglian City. Because it was noon, there was little traffic at this time. It is normal for a bus to enter the overpass. Just after it entered the overpass, the bus began to accelerate suddenly. As its speed increased, it suddenly crashed into the guardrail of the overpass. It seemed that it wanted to rush down the bridge with Linyi and then go to death, or let Linyi die. After feeling the purpose of this vengeful spirit bus, Linyi was no longer interested in playing. The light of the nine heavens mysterious ice flashed around him, and he leaned back suddenly, while the light of the spiritual wave flashed. Linyi was sitting in the last row of the bus, and behind him was the rear window of the bus. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 295. A huge force hit the bus glass at the rear. With a huge power and the brilliance of spiritual waves. There was no resistance in the glass, and a hole was directly punched through. Linyi did a backflip and landed easily on the overpass. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. At this time, the bus smashed through the guardrail of the bridge, and the wild horse rushed directly down. But when Linyi landed and took a closer look, it all seemed like an illusion. The guardrail has not been knocked open, it still stays at the edge of the bridge deck, and the wraith bus does not exist. He frowned, stood by the overpass, and looked down the overpass. The wraith bus appeared silently on the road below and drove slowly into the distance, as if nothing happened just now. What surprised Linyi the most was that no one around except him seemed to notice the change and sudden appearance of the resentful spirit bus. That is to say, this ghost bus can even affect human sensory judgment. That's why no one has noticed its existence, or even if they notice it, they will subconsciously ignore it. This Red Lotus City is becoming more and more weird, with all kinds of weird existences emerging one after another. Shaking his head, he stood on the overpass, leaning slightly on the railing, staring in the direction of the wraith bus, lost in thought. He opened his feet and walked quickly towards the overpass. He still has many tasks today, and there are at least 7 places he needs to go to. Basically, each notebook records 1 to 2 inhumane events. But the target he is most interested in is the evidence of the twins, which were left behind by Scorpion. According to him, these 2 people are time bombs. It was specially prepared by him for Donggong Wudi. Once Donggong Wubai attacks him, someone will naturally contact the 2 sisters. Send these evidences in front of them, and when the time comes, the 2 sisters who know the truth will definitely choose revenge. And once Donggong Wudi dies, Xie can also avenge his own murder, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Linyi couldn't help but admire Scorpion's plan. You are really a smart man, but it's a pity that you did something wrong and came to trouble me. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but smile. Soon the other 6 places in Honglian City had been visited by Linyi. He met 6 different people, all of whom had a common trait. They are all lonely people, without any relatives or friends, and are very withdrawn. Everyone remains alert to the outside world and has a sense of urgent crisis. They each had their own jobs, and when Linyi found them, everyone was shocked. If it hadn't come from the changes in Scorpion, they would never have believed anything Linyi said. Linyi was curious about how Xie found such a person. But these are unimportant things. What is important is that he has obtained 9 notebooks, all of which are evidence. And now he is preparing to get the most important piece of evidence. The placement of evidence is also more subtle. In the wealthy area in the east of the city, a security guard was in the villa area where Donggongwudi was located. After thinking about it, Lin Yi felt relieved. Why would Scorpion find a security guard to preserve this time bomb-like evidence? The reason is also very simple. Only this kind of security guard can easily contact the two sisters. No matter what the two sisters do in the future, they will always come back here, and that's when the security guards contact them. Lin Yi came to the security booth of this villa and was searching for his target. What he is looking for is the oldest security guard here, who is about 60 years old. His main responsibility is to patrol during the day. There are at least 10 villas in this area, each of which is a separate family. But there are a lot of security guards and guards patrolling this area, strictly protecting and preventing any possible criminals. When Lin Yi came yesterday, he received countless looks. People were staring at him at any time. Today, when he came again, he naturally attracted the attention of some people, and one of the security guards walked over directly. "Who are you? Why are you here?" Lin Yi looked at the guard and smiled slightly. "Hello, I'm here to see someone." He is a security guard, about 60 years old, and his name is Zhao Heng. "I wonder if you know him." The patrolling security guard was stunned for a moment, called Lin Yi up and down, and then said, "Are you looking for Lao Zhao? Then follow me." He was resting just now and is now in the security room. Lin Yi smiled slightly and said, "Thank you." The patrol guard smiled and shook his head. "It's nothing. Since you are here to see Lao Zhao, I will just show you the way. You and Lao Zhao know each other." The guard led the way and asked about Lin Yi's origins. "I don't know Lao Zhao, but I have a friend who knows Lao Zhao. He asked me to come to Lao Zhao to explain something to him." "That's right, let me just say, Lao Zhao is a lonely old man. I don't usually see him interacting with anyone." "How is this guy, Lao Zhao?" "I can talk to him when I see him later." Lin Yi completely regarded himself as a visiting guest, asking for some basic information. The patrol security guard seemed to be very talkative. "Old Zhao is okay, kind-hearted, and very nice to everyone. We all like him." Lin Yi quickly drew a specific image of him from the patrol security guard's description. A harmless old man. Scorpion is quite good at choosing people. If he chooses such a person, it will be very easy for him to approach the twins. After all, no one will be wary of an old man who has worked in this area for so many years approaching him. Soon they came to the office of the security guard in this area. An old man was sitting on a chair with a newspaper, drinking tea, and watching. After the patrol guard took Lin Yi into the office, he said to Old Zhao, "Old Zhao, someone is looking for you here." "It's a young man." When Old Zhao heard the voice, he put down the newspaper in his hand and looked up at the guard. His eyes fell on Lin Yi next to him, a person he had never seen before. With a puzzled expression, he stood up from the chair and walked towards the two. He asked in confusion, "Who are you, sir?" Lin Yi smiled slightly. "Excuse me, are you Mr. Zhao Heng?" Old Zhao nodded. "Yes, I am Zhao Heng." "That's right, it's Mr. Lan Fang who asked me to come to you." Hearing Lan Fang's name, Old Zhao was slightly stunned, and then suddenly realized. "It's Lan Fang, I know, let's go out and talk slowly." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 296. Old Zhao obviously realized something and talked to Lin Yi enthusiastically. The patrol security guard saw that the two were so enthusiastic and knew that there should be no problem. He said to Lin Yi, "Then you guys chat, I'm going to work first, goodbye." "Goodbye, thank you." Lin Yi responded politely, waved to the patrol security guard, and turned his head to look at Old Zhao. This is the transformation of Scorpion, You can take a look. Old Zhao took Scorpion's note, looked at the notes on it, checked the code, and nodded secretly. Sir, the things are in my dormitory, please follow me. Following Old Zhao, he left the security office and came to a small building behind the office. This small building is a temporary dormitory for the security guards in this area. Of course, if they don't have a house in Honglian City, this can also become their permanent dormitory. As long as they work here for a day, they can live here at will. This small building is a corridor-style apartment, and Old Zhao lives alone in room 101. Number 1, first floor. It is obvious that he has lived here for a long time, and he is considered a veteran among the security guards. His room was a single room, equipped with a kitchen, bedroom, and toilet. The things inside were very simple, with a TV cabinet, a wardrobe, a bed, and a desk. After Lao Zhao brought Lin Yi into the room, he turned around and said to him, "Sir, please wait a moment. I will find the evidence and give it to you." He came to the desk and gently pushed it open. The desk was placed by the window. At this time, Lao Zhao looked at the back of the desk, which was against the wall. He squatted down and started fiddling with something. Apparently he hid the evidence behind the desk. About 2 minutes later, he took out a small notebook from behind the desk. After taking out the notebook, he came to Lin Yi and handed it to him. "Sir, this is the evidence Scorpion gave me." Holding the evidence in his hand, Lin Yi nodded, "Okay, I got the evidence. From now on, you can live your life in peace. Don't tell anyone that you have done this. This is for your life safety. Also, Honglian City is not safe anymore. Here's a suggestion. After resigning, take your savings and leave. Go to some small cities." Old Zhao smiled when he heard this. "Forget it. I'm 60 years old. Where else can I go? If something really happens, I'll admit it. I've lived long enough." Seeing that Old Zhao was full of the old man's twilight, Lin Yi didn't say anything more and nodded slightly. "Well, I'll leave first." Old Zhao looked at Lin Yi and said slightly, "Is Mr. Scorpion okay?" "Don't worry, he's doing well, but he can't leave. He won't come to see you guys in the future." Old Zhao was slightly relieved. If that's the case, then it's okay. As long as he's okay. After leaving Old Zhao's room, a faint cold light appeared in Lin Yi's eyes. Next, he will start his layout. He looked at the sky and it was around 7 o'clock in the evening. In Donggongwudi's villa, he was sitting in the empty hall with a gloomy face. Soon the twin sisters pushed the door open and came to Donggongwudi, saying respectfully, "Sir, we have sent people to investigate. Since last night, Scorpion has never returned to the villa, and no one has gone to his own house. According to our investigation, he used special means to recruit 3 strong men on the wanted list to go with him to kill Lin Yi of the Wanchaiwu. But the results show that the 4 of them have not appeared anywhere so far. According to our speculation, I'm afraid they are in danger. The mysterious Wanchaiwu owner Lin Yi, his strength should be far beyond our previous speculation. Please tell me what we should do next." Bang! The angry Donggongwudi slapped the tea table. The tea table was smashed on the spot, turning it into an abandoned piece of furniture. His eyes were cold and full of anger, and he had already guessed the result. Damn guy, how could he be so strong? Who allowed him to be so strong? He is slapping me in the face. How can he slap my face, Donggongwudi? Since you are so arrogant, I have to deal with you seriously. There was an unprecedented murderous intent in his eyes, and he looked at the twins. Ling Hua, Ling Long, you two gather the other 5 people to make a plan, and you must kill this person. I don't want to see or hear any news about this person anymore. I will never allow anyone to laugh at me. The twins Ling Hua and Ling Long looked serious after hearing this. The words of the young master were orders and heaven to them. from the time they were rescued by Donggong Wudi. They had already sold their lives to him, and they vowed to protect the man who saved their lives. Half an hour later, Lin Yi sat in the Wanchaiwu, with a tablet in front of him. He imported the memory cards in the 10 notebooks into his computer one by one. They were all videos, some of which were account books of companies under Donggong Wudi. Some were videos and evidence of humiliating and killing women. There are also some videos of Donggong Wudi personally killing people. Once these things are released, it is almost impossible to whitewash them. At this time, he thought about it and picked up the phone in his hand. He dialed a familiar yet unfamiliar number. Beep. This is the phone of Ai Ching, the man who lost his legs and an arm in the previous incidents. Lin Yi wanted to ask if this Ai Ching was still willing to be a messenger of justice. Although he hadn't heard from this person for a long time. As expected, the call was not connected. After hanging up the phone, Lin Yi's eyes showed a trace of trouble. It seems that I have to find someone else to expose this matter. After thinking about it, his eyes fell on Absinthe. This guy can change into various appearances. It's just right to go to the internet cafe and spread these news on various forums. After doing everything, he can change back to his own appearance, and come back without anyone noticing, and no one can find him. Thinking of this, he already had an idea in his mind. As for Absinthe, he shuddered all over. He looked at Lin Yi strangely, with a hint of resentment in his eyes. "Manager, you don't want me to do anything again, do you?" Lin Yi showed a faint smile on his face. "Of course, I just need you to do something." Absinthe's horns twitched, but he had no way to refuse, because he had to bow his head under someone's roof. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 297. Soon, Absinthe took a USB flash drive with 9 evidence videos copied into it. They were all made by Lin Yi and packaged into a folder. Absinthe will appear in various internet cafes and pass this information to the internet. Lin Yi sat in the Wanchaiwu, waiting for the whole incident to ferment. "So I have already made a move, how do you respond?" Donggong Wudi. With a sneer on his face, Lin Yi almost saw the other party's anger and helplessness. "Your 7 generals will most likely be sent out by you. As long as they come to kill me, you have made a big mistake." Lin Yi had already made all preparations, just waiting for these 7 generals to fall into the tiger's mouth. It has to be said that these evidences will be the last straw that breaks the camel's back, as well as the anger from the Prime Minister of Donggong towards Donggong Wudi. This is bound to make Donggong Wudi completely lose his mind and make wrong judgments. Everything is to stimulate him. Angry people are most likely to make wrong choices in anger, which will eventually cause huge losses and failures to themselves. From Donggong Wudi's various deeds, Lin Yi has roughly figured out this person's character. Although this person seems fierce and domineering, he is very cautious, and conspiracy is his favorite means. He likes to spend the least effort to get the greatest results. No matter how cruel the means are, he will use them. And it is very difficult to calculate this kind of person with ordinary methods, because he will first think that this is a conspiracy, and then he will start to trace the source. For this Donggong Wudi, Lin Yi will not despise him at all. He has made all preparations. And the Wanchaiwu is the battlefield he chose, and he wants his opponent to have to step into it. An hour later, the network of the Red Lotus realm exploded instantly. One video after another began to spread on the internet. The content was horrifying and terrifying. Everyone who saw the content was completely shocked. They never thought that someone could be so vicious. Suddenly, the internet was flooded with things about Donggong Wudi. At the same time, Donggong Taiyu, the Prime Minister's residence, also received the news. He was watching one video after another on a tablet at this time. After seeing the content inside, veins popped out on his eyebrows, showing how much fluctuation he had in his heart. What on earth is this guy doing? I warned him not to do this kind of thing a long time ago. At this point, there was a trace of indescribable anger in his eyes. He could almost see that his political enemies would make a big fuss about this matter and then throw all the dirty water on him. The father is the fault of the son. With such a son, what qualifications does he have to be the prime minister? This is the biggest attack on his reputation. Although the propaganda department is under his control, it is useless for him to suppress the news now, because the news has already spread thoroughly. The downloads that should be downloaded have already been downloaded, and even if it is stopped, it cannot be stopped. At this time, the door of his office has been urgently pushed open. People with panicked faces walked in one by one, all of them were from his faction. Prime Minister, what happened? How could your son do such a thing? And these contents were actually filmed and posted online. The Deputy Prime Minister has contacted many people and is submitting an investigation request to the Congress. Request a thorough investigation of all group companies under Dong Gongwadi's name. Even Prime Minister, the company where your family is located has been targeted. Hearing this, Dong Gongtao's face was gloomy. Damn guy, he is really an ungrateful wolf. We just reached an agreement last time, and he can't wait to backfire so quickly. This is a fence-sitter. Although Dong Gongtao was angry about the Deputy Prime Minister's backhand attack, his expression was still calm and he didn't show it. Looking at the members of his faction, he said calmly, now we will do our best to suppress the spread of this matter. Second, tell our people immediately and let them arrest Dong Gongwadi and temporarily detain him. I will deal with it later, after this matter is over. Hearing this, everyone understood in their hearts that this was a delaying tactic. It has calmed down the internet craze and cooled down the heat. At that time, you can find some evidence to clear your name. Capital society is so realistic. What are you still standing there for? Why don't you do it quickly, looking at the people in front of him? Dong Gongtao looked at him like a goose, and a trace of anger appeared in his eyes. He couldn't help but yell at them, scaring them. It took them a long time to react, and they crawled out of Dong Gongtao's room and started to make arrangements. These people are trash, none of them are useful. Thinking of this, he picked up his mobile phone and dialed a familiar number. Beep. Old man? What's the matter? An impatient man said. It was Dong Gongwadi. Dong Gongtao frowned when he heard Dong Gongwadi's words. He and Dong Gongwadi have never gotten along well. Their relationship is very tense, but after all, he is his son, and he has to ask about everything. Have you seen what happened on the internet? All the things you did have been exposed. I have someone to take you to the police station. You stay there for a while. When this is over, I will find someone to get you out. What? You want me to go to the police station? Live with those trash? Are you kidding? This is an insult to me. How can I be the same as those trash? I will definitely find out who posted those things online. I will cut him into pieces. Don't even think about letting me in. Dong Gongtao's eyes flashed with a cold light when he heard this. Do you think I'm asking you? Am I ordering you? You've made such a big mess this time. If you don't go, no one can save you. Even if it's me, I can't do it. No one can violate the laws of the empire. This is an agreement reached by all families. Do you think our Dong Gong family can withstand the hostility of all families? This is not playing house. Hearing this, Dong Gongwadi roared like a lit firecracker. Don't worry about my business. I'll fix my own mess. Get out of here. After saying that, Dong Gongwadi hung up the phone without hesitation. He showed unbearable anger in his eyes. Why? Why do you care about me? The house of everything I created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 298. I have been relying on myself since I was a child. Taiwanese novel network rightward arrow diamond suit. Diamond suit. Do you think you are qualified to control me just because you are my father? You should do whatever you ask me to do. Dong Gong Woody's eyes were full of anger, full of dissatisfaction with Dong Gong Taiyu. He took out his mobile phone and dialed the mobile phone number of Ling Long, the twin. Hello, Ling Long, the order has changed now. You lead all 7 generals to the door to surround and kill directly. I allow you to use heavy firepower, don't give him any chance. I must kill him. At this time, Ling Long was sitting in a cafe with her sister Ling Hua. A man was sitting opposite them, and this man was Lin Yi. I don't know when Lin Yi has found the 2 sisters. The reason is also very simple. He asked the weird child to guard outside the villa. When the 2 sisters came out, a letter was delivered to the 2 sisters. The content of the letter is also very simple. Do you want to know the truth about your parents' death? If you do, please come to the Blue Star Cafe. Please be on time at 8 o'clock today, otherwise we will not wait for you. After Lin Yi told Absinthe to spread the evidence on the internet, he came to the Blue Star Cafe and waited for the sisters to come. As expected, the sisters rushed over without stopping after receiving the letter. In their hearts, their parents are the greatest pain in their lives. Although their parents died in a car accident, they actually have doubts in their hearts. After gaining power from Dong Gong Woody, they have been using Dong Gong Woody's power to investigate the truth of their parents' death. Through some means, they consulted the archives at that time and invited some famous detectives to help them analyze the case. Although the final result is that their parents died in a normal car accident. But the 2 always have an indelible shadow in their hearts, as if a black hand is covering their lives. When they received this letter, they would put everything aside and come to the Blue Star Cafe as soon as possible. They wanted to see who sent the letter. When they saw Lin Yi's face, they showed a trace of solemnity in their eyes. They never expected that what was waiting for them was the target of this mission. Lin Yi looked at the surprised eyes of the 2 and waved to them. The 2 sisters looked at each other and came to Lin Yi calmly. Ling Long and Ling Hua were just their code names. Their real names were Zhang Lingfang and Zhang Linghua. Zhang Lingfang was the elder sister and Zhang Linghua was the younger sister. The 2 sisters had beautiful faces and were about 1.7 meters tall. They were really fair-skinned, beautiful, and long-legged. The elder sister wore a black capable professional suit, with the temperament of a strong woman. The younger sister wore a light blue dress, giving people a pure feeling and was very touching. The facial features of the 2 were very delicate and exactly the same, without any difference. People who were not familiar with them could not tell them apart. The only thing that could distinguish them was the temperament they exuded. Zhang Linfang's eyes showed a trace of coldness, and she looked at Lin Yi and said, "You dare to come to us, you are so bold. You are not in a dangerous place, how can you be considered so bold? Okay, no more nonsense. This is what I want to show you, and you will understand everything after watching it. Your life is controlled by someone, like a fool." Zhang Linfang and Zhang Linghua's hearts sank slightly when they heard this. They vaguely seemed to feel that they were about to accept a truth that they least wanted to accept. Lin Yi played a video in front of them. The content of the video was the scene of the car accident. A man and a woman were sitting in a car. When they drove to the intersection, a truck rushed out from the side. The truck was carrying 10 tons of mud and sand. Although it stepped on the brakes the moment it saw the car. But the huge impact and inertia still made it hit the car firmly. The car rolled on the ground for dozens of times like plastic, and finally exploded. The 2 sisters' eyes turned red when they saw this. In fact, they had watched this video countless times and had already taken it out from the surveillance. But it was obvious that this video was shot by someone, not from the surveillance. When the car exploded, the person who shot the video turned around and left. After the video, the screen turned and appeared in a gorgeous room, where there was a young man about 20 years old. This person was Dong Gongwudi, and he looked at the person who shot the video. How is the matter going? Have the parents of the twins been dealt with? Another familiar voice sounded in the ears of the two sisters. Young master, it has been dealt with. The parents of the twins have died in the car accident. Hearing this, the two sisters' faces suddenly turned pale, they clenched their hands, and their nails even pierced into their palms. A trace of blood dripped from their palms, and in an instant, they understood everything. They knew who was talking. It was Scorpion, the housekeeper of Dong Gongwudi. Dong Gongwudi's countless things were done by this person. And last night this person fell into Lin Yi's handyman shop. They didn't expect that the other party would dig out so many things about them from Scorpion in such a short time. Looking at this picture and listening to the voice inside, the sisters who have undergone countless professional training can naturally judge that the content inside is absolutely true and has not been specially processed. This kind of anger is simply unimaginable, and their eyes are almost swallowed by despair. They can't believe that they actually sacrificed everything for the enemy who killed their father. Both of them were trembling all over, as if they could explode at any time, and endless murderous intent filled their hearts. At this time, Scorpion's words rang again, the forged debt is also ready. We can make the final layout for the twins at any time. Dong Gongwudi showed a sinister smile on his face. Very good, go and prepare. At this time, the picture turned again. On the street, the two sisters were surrounded by a dozen big men, and they were trembling. Looking at the debt note in the hand of one of the big men, they were at a loss. At this time, a car stopped by the side, and Dong Gongwudi came like a savior in a delicate suit. Behind him followed Scorpion and several other black-clad bodyguards, and he directly inserted himself into the group of black-clad men. Then he rescued the twins, and even the twins' grateful expressions can be seen in the video. But at this time, the twins opposite Lin Yi only felt endless humiliation, anger, and despair when they saw this scene. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 299. Bang. It seemed that her sister Zhang Linghua couldn't bear it any longer and punched the wooden table in front of her. The place where he was hit sunk instantly, and a cold breath covered the depression. At this time, Zhang Lingfang held her sister's right arm with her left hand, preventing her from getting further angry. Zhang Lingfang looked at Lin Yi, took a deep breath, and calmed down the anger in her heart. Thank you for showing us the truth. What do you want us to do? My sister Zhang Lingfang is very calm. Even if she is angry now, she has stabilized her emotions immediately. Their parents are gone. She is Zhang Linghua's sister, so she has to bear everything. She cannot lose her mind or be weak in front of her sister. She must be calm. A smile appeared on Lin Yi's lips. Do you want revenge? Hearing Lin Yi's words, Zhang Lingfang nodded. Of course we want revenge. But we also want to live. Do you have any good ideas? Lin Yi nodded. Of course there are good ways. After watching this video, you should already know that Dong Gongwudi is definitely not a good person. He is playing with your lives just by applause. He will not have absolute trust in you, and he must be wary of you secretly. Especially this time, Scorpion fell into my house of all things, and all kinds of negative information about him was exposed on the internet. With his shrewdness, he will definitely notice the problem. Scorpion betrayed him and exposed his secret. Can the secret between you two be kept? Obviously no, so now he must be suspicious of you too. In order to use the waste, he will probably let you and the 7 generals under him directly besiege my Wanchaiwu View. Whether you know the truth or not, as long as you take action, you and I will be our eternal enemies. And it should be very soon. He will never give you a chance to contact me. Just as she was talking, Zhang Lingfang's cell phone rang. Looking at the caller ID on her phone, Zhang Lingfang's pupils shrank and her expression was extremely cold. It's him. Lin Yi smiled slightly. Look, he's here to order you. Take it and deal with it well, this is related to our next plan. Zhang Lingfang nodded and answered the phone. The voice suddenly became sweet and beautiful, no longer a bit cold, as if everything was just a dream. But looking at the other party's cold face, Lin Yi couldn't help but feel his heart skip a beat. Sure enough, beautiful women are the best at deceiving. The more beautiful they are, the better they are at deceiving. This acting skill. Tisk, 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 that's awesome. Countless thoughts flashed through my mind as I looked at Zhang Lingfang. At this time, Dong Gongwu the opposite was giving orders. After receiving the order, Zhang Lingfang said respectfully. Yes, sir, I will notify everyone immediately. Dong Gongwu hung up the phone, and there was a gloomy look on his face in the room. Zhang Lingfang probably hasn't had contact with anyone from Wanchaiwu yet. These two people can no longer be used after today and must be disposed of. Thinking of this, he made another call. In a dark room, a muscular man practicing cultivation answered the phone. Sir, do you have a mission? Beisha, Linglong will call you later. Tonight you are going to a place called Wanchaiwu and kill the store manager Lin Yi there. You have to pay attention to Linglong, she may have problems. If something unexpected happens during the siege, kill the two sisters as soon as possible. After the mission was successful, she was also dealt with at the scene. It's the young master, Bai Sha said. He was a strong man, 1.9 meters tall, with muscles all over his body as delicate as a sculpture. His face was very cold, without even a trace of human emotion. His whole person looked as cold and heartless as a machine. Just after hanging up the phone, a call from Linglong was connected to his mobile phone. A clear and cold female voice sounded, "Young master's order. Tonight we are going to kill a person named Lin Yi who opened a Wanchaiwu cafe. Inform the others to prepare, bring enough firepower, and don't drop heavy weapons. This is war, understand?" When Bai Sha heard this, he said coldly, "Okay." Zhang Lingfang put down the phone in her hand and looked at Lin Yi. "Now that's the situation, what are you going to do?" "It's very simple. Just use the trick and let the two of you lead them into the house of all things. I'm going to take them out there. After you deal with them, you can go for revenge. But I guess Dong Gongwu won't be waiting for you there. After the mission is over, you should be dealt with by these people. As long as you make a phone call, it will be revealed that the mission failed." Zhang Lingfang's face condensed slightly when she heard this. Then how to solve it? Lin Yi smiled slightly. "Don't worry, leave this matter to me. I will let him reveal his location without any warning." There was a strange smile on his face, as if he had thought of something interesting. Looking at Lin Yi's expression, both sisters felt a chill rising from the bottom of their hearts. The night quickly arrived at 9 o'clock. Sister Zhang Lingfang has gathered with the other 5 of the 7 generals. Their goal tonight is to wipe out the Wanchaiwu with absolute strength. The 7 generals are Linglong, Linghua, Beisha, Black Bear, Tattoo, Swordsman, and Flying Eagle. The 7 of them are the strongest trump cards under Dong Gongwu. The 7 people work together with the most advanced modern weapons, enough to snipe all enemies, and they are definitely first-class soldiers. At this time, each of them is wearing a tactical suit and carrying the most elite equipment. Long-range sniper rifles, heavy fire machine guns, each person has a number of grenades, and 3 people are carrying rocket launchers. This is simply going to be a small-scale war. And each of them has reached the first level of the human immortal way. After countless battle tests, they are even more killing machines on the battlefield. Zhang Lingfang and the others look no different from the past. Wearing their carefully prepared weapons and equipment, they exude a strong murderous aura. After checking the sky and time, Zhang Lingfang said, "It's almost time, let's go." Everyone followed her closely. The 7 of them walked in the shadows, not conspicuous at all in the night. Relying on their powerful martial arts skills, they kept climbing over walls and jumping over buildings. Their figures flashed in the alleys of the city from time to time, just like the legendary ninjas. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 300. Soon they came to the backyard of the Wanchaiwu, and the 7 of them entered in a line, climbing over the wall silently. Just like the 4 scorpions who attacked last time. They stayed in the backyard, and Zhang Lingfang looked at Fei Ying among the 7 people. "Fei Ying, check what the situation is like inside the room." Fei Ying nodded and took out a small exquisite equipment box from his back. After opening it, there was a little finger-sized aircraft inside. Fei Ying began to control the control panel of the flying chess, letting the small aircraft fly towards the Wanchaiwu. Each of them had night vision goggles in front of them, and the infrared light could allow them to see everything that contained heat and avoid any sneak attacks. Fei Ying controlled the small aircraft and quickly flew into the Wanchaiwu. There was a screen on the operating table in front of him, which showed the picture observed by the aircraft. The picture was light green and also had night vision function. Looking at the content of the picture, everyone gave up concentrating and waited for the detection results. The aircraft searched in the Wanchaiwu for a while and captured some images through various gaps. There are 3 heat source images in the bedroom on the 2nd floor, and there is also a heat source image in the bedroom on the 1st floor. It is obviously the owner here, Lin Yi and his staff. After confirming the location of each staff member of the Wanchaiwu, Zhang Lingfang's face showed a hint of coldness. "Now divide the troops into 4 groups. Flying Eagle, Black Bear, Tattoo, the 3 of you go to the 2nd floor to deal with the 3 people upstairs. Bai Sha, Swordsman, Ling Hua and I will go to the 1st floor to deal with Lin Yi, the owner of the Wanchaiwu." No one doubted Zhang Lingfang's order. Bai Sha just walked at the end of the 4 people vaguely. Obviously, he followed the order of Dong Gongwudi and kept an eye on Zhang Lingfang and the others at any time. The 7 people started to move and entered the corridor one after another. Tattoo, Flying Eagle, Black Bear gently climbed to the 2nd floor. Zhang Lingfang and the other 4 came to the door of Lin Yi's bedroom. A slender long sword like a cicada's wing appeared in the swordsman's hand. A faint light of energy was injected, and the long sword emitted a pure white sword light like goose feather snow. He gently chopped the sword light towards the door lock, and the door lock was directly cut in half. He gently pushed the door, without a sound, and even without a little airflow fluctuation. The bedroom door slowly opened. The 4 people restrained all their breath and looked at the bed with goggles. There was an image of a heat source, which appeared in their eyes. The heat source was covered under a quilt, and it was obvious that the other party had fallen asleep. Zhang Lingfang had a black silencer pistol in her hand, which was aimed at the quilt. Bang bang bang. 3 consecutive shots accurately hit the bulge of the quilt. A liquid full of heat gushed out, and the orange light flowed all over the bed. This scene quickly appeared in their goggles. Seeing this scene, they knew that the mission was successful, and it was the blood that spurted out. At this time, they did not notice that 4 figures appeared silently behind them. The purple corpse monster, the strange child, the bad doctor and the 2-headed dog. Among all the things, their figures can be hidden at any time and enter another time and space level of the Wanchaiwu. And this hiding will not be discovered by anyone. At this moment, Baisha's face suddenly changed, and he realized something was wrong. "No, this is fake, there is no blood smell." At the moment he spoke, a huge threat appeared behind him. A purple fist hit his vest. Baisha is the most powerful master in martial arts among the 5 generals. Facing the sudden crisis behind him, he reacted immediately. He pounced forward in the air and kicked behind him. This kick gathered all the energy in his body, and the output of 10% of the energy was burst to the limit. His whole foot was covered with a layer of black light. But facing the punch from the purple corpse monster, a violent cracking sound was heard. His entire foot lost feeling in an instant, and then, under the influence of huge inertia, he fell onto the bed. Bang! The violent impact made him tremble all over, but he did not panic in the face of life and death. The 2 Condor pistols in his hands had already shot directly at his back. Bang, 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 bang. 6 bullets were fired continuously in a row, hitting the purple corpse monster that was rushing towards him. The huge impact of the bullets made the body of the purple corpse monster tremble slightly. But his body was too strong, and full of powerful regeneration ability. These 6 bullets did not cause much damage to him, but only slightly slowed down his speed. The next moment, he had already pounced on Beisha, and his fists smashed at him like raindrops. Beisha had reached the critical moment of life and death, and all the energy in his body was gathered in his arms. He no longer cared about the pistol in his hand. He raised his fist and smashed it madly on the body of the purple corpse monster. In a simple competition of strength, he was no match for the purple corpse monster. Their fists collided in the small space, and the sound of crackling continued. "Ah, get out of my way, ah!" The frantic struggle was useless, and with the sound of crackling, Beisha's arms were broken. Countless fists fell on him, smashing all his bones. In just a few seconds, he was already dying and lying on the bed powerlessly. At this time, the swordsman who entered here with them, facing the danger behind him, slashed his back with a knife. Countless black smoke tentacles were directly cut off by the bright knife light in his hand. Before he could react, 2 gunshots had already sounded. The bullets hit his limbs, causing his whole body to fall to the ground involuntarily. Countless black smoke tentacles had already submerged him in an instant. The terrifying resentment invaded every part of his body and directly controlled him. In just a few seconds, Beisha and the swordsman had become captives of the Wanchaiwu. And a thrilling fight was also unfolding on the 2nd floor. There were 3 people sitting in each of the 3 rooms. Absinthe, Vodka, and Lin Yi. They faced Black Bear, Tattoo, and Flying Eagle respectively. The one who entered the room of Kool-Aid wine was Black Bear. This man was obviously a master who practiced the body refining technique. He was 2 meters tall and had strong muscles all over his body. He didn't hide himself at all, just twisted the door lock of Absinthe's room hard, and then pushed the door open. But when he entered the door, he saw Absinthe sitting on the bed, smiling at him. "Why did you come just now? I've been waiting for you for a long time, come and make me happy." Absinthe's face was extremely distorted, as if he had encountered something that made him extremely happy.